In the heat of the desert, Papago Park here in Phoenix, Arizona. Hi folks, my name is Daron Sutton, and this is the 2019 Perfect Game National Showcase. Over the last couple of years, this has proven to be a springboard to the major leagues. Since 2001, nearly 400 major leaguers and close to 2,500 players drafted. And in the 20 class, it will be no different. Here at Chase Field, the home of the Arizona Diamondbacks, is where the heat goes inside. The pressure to compete. The growth of these athletes is where we will start. How they earned the right to be here in Phoenix, how they look forward to what the future holds. But before we do any of that, Perfect Game wants to take some of their best athletes and get them cleaned up.
How hard is baseball?
It's the hardest sport.
Why would you say that? I see fat guys playing baseball all the time. I never see fat guys playing basketball.
Yeah, but the hardest thing to do, I think, is hit a baseball.
You grew up in a big family?
Yeah, I got 3 brothers, no sisters.
So you played other sports before you played baseball?
Yeah, I played basketball and football, but I didn't really like basketball like that. I started playing football a little later, but I kind of like, it was kind of natural to me, you know.
You got a high pain tolerance?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah? I'm saying, like, you ever break any bones or anything like that? Ever get injured?
Well, I broke my hamate bone in my hand from swinging.
So you hit something? You hit a baseball?
I check swung and I broke a bone in my hand. I had to have surgery.
Like a bat, like you start you get halfway and you stop?
You start your swing, but then you stop.
Oh, I gotcha. Why do people do that? Is that cool? I went to school. I became an RN just because, you know, my mom said, you're just lazy. So I got a degree. But I do this by choice. Kind of like you in baseball.
Right.
If you had a choice to do any other sport, let's just say your dad didn't push you into baseball. Let's just say you could choose anything else. What would it be?
It'll probably be football, but if somebody put me inside hockey, I think I like hockey.
Hockey?
Yeah.
What position do you play?
Shortstop.
What's that?
Between second base and third base.
Between second base and third base?
Yes, sir. You ever been to a game?
I've been to a game. Been to a couple of games.
Diamondback games?
Yes. I like the Peanuts.
When I'm not playing baseball, I'm at church.
How active are you in the church?
I sing in the choir. My grandfather's a deacon, so I sit with him when I'm not in the choir. Does a lot of charity work. He's a good man. You know, that's one of my top role models.
How did you end up in baseball? What's the deal? Just turns out you were good, or you as a kid you always wanted to play. What's the deal?
Well,
From the beginning, go.
Neither one of my parents really even played. My mom's from Sweden, so she didn't really even know what baseball was. And then my dad didn't really play baseball. And then
I like your parents.
yeah, my mom was my first coach, actually.
What kind of music you like?
I'm into rap, but surprisingly, people wouldn't notice about me. One of my favorite artists is Elton John. A lot of people know that, yeah.
It's like I made a movie about this guy.
Yeah. My favorite. One of my
Shocker.
favorites.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say this is?
So far, it's a 10.
So far, it's a 10?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to edit that so your barber doesn't see that. I don't want you getting in trouble. You're just visiting here, man.
On the mound, velocity always plays. We understand that. There are pitchability guys, but usually they combine that velocity. So if I'm to ask you to maybe narrow it down to a half dozen pitchers, it's a tall task, but can you do it?
Oh, yes, definitely do that. And nowadays, the velocity, as you mentioned, 90 is important. 93 is now almost the norm here. Right. You get into the mid 90s, 95, even up to 97 or so. Now we're talking elite arms, but we're looking at more than that. We're looking at ability to spin the ball. We're looking at athleticism. We're looking at projection, command. So it's just not velocity. It goes in a lot of things. But there is one man that really young man that stood out in that. Right-hander Mitch Abel from Oregon. Oregon's got a lot of publicity lately. That Rutschman kid, I understand, and Oregon State and all, but they might have the top pitching prospect in the draft this year in Mitch Abel. 6'5", 175 pounds. Looks like he's like 14 years old. I don't think he shaves yet. He was up to 97, commanded it, and had the best breaking ball, 87-mile-an-hour slider that we have seen here thus far. It is a killer big league pitch right now, and the sky's the limit for Mitch Abel.
Nate Savino is a Virginia commit. He's out of Sterling, Virginia. Explain who he is.
We're going to say this is almost a left-handed Mitch Abel. Topped out at 96, and the arm works beautifully. It doesn't look like he's throwing 96, but it was steady 94, 96. He can spin the ball. We know he's a very good athlete, and he's a guy that we haven't seen as much of as Abel maybe. We didn't really know what we had, but he has definitely took the upper echelon top 10 players in this class mantle along with Abel amongst the pitchers.
Refugio, Texas, not far from Corpus Christi. He's a Texas commit, Jared Kelly.
Jared Kelly is the old-fashioned Texas power pitcher. He's 6'2", 200. It's a fairly mature build. We had reports all spring from our guys who live in Texas. This is 95, 98 every time out. That's pretty much what we saw here. He really doesn't have the present breaking stuff of the first two pitchers we mentioned, but you can see it there. He likes throwing a changeup. You always like seeing a third pitch on a power guy. He profiles as a starter. And I should say, they talk starter reliever so much in today's baseball. Everybody we're talking about right now profiles as a starter down the road. But Jared Kelly is that good old-fashioned Texas hard-throwing right-hander.
Jared Jones is a Southern California kid. He's a USC commit, hard-throwing right-hander. He threw 100 from the outfield during the outfield drills, and then throughout this summer and even late in the high school season has touched 99 on the mound.
Yeah, we all know Jared Jones has the arm. It was fun watching him throw from the outfield because it's easy, and he's so athletic. He could go out and be drafted as a center field type player if he wasn't so good on the mound. I don't think Jared felt like this was his best outing here. He topped out 96. He's got 4 present pitches. He has feel for his breaking ball. He throws a 90-mile-an-hour changeup. Now, that's not very, very common in baseball, but he throws it with conviction, and he's confident in it. And the big arm's there, the athleticism is there, and I think Jared's just going to keep improving.
Vanderbilt awaits Oklahoma City native Daxton Fulton. Who is Mr. Fulton?
Well, Daxton Fulton is not the present guy. We're not talking mid-upper 90s. We're talking 90 to 93, but we're also talking about a 6'6", 210-pound lefty, and it's all smooth. It's not present tense. This is all a projection guy who's already throwing low 90s. He throws the ball to spots. He can spin it. And when you have that package, nobody doesn't like 6'6" lefties. And when you have such a high ceiling going forward, it's going to be really interesting in the next year between this June and next June's draft to see how much he improves.
There are a whole bunch of Brewer boomers, baby boomers back in the 50s. There are Brewer boomers that have fallen in love with this sport, and I guarantee you, because of Milwaukee and the Brewers, George Klassen is one of these kids. This is a young man that grabbed your attention. He's from Port Washington, Wisconsin, and because of his performance here, he's now available. He's a non-commit.
Well, the thing about George Klassen, he might be the most improved pitcher in this class. He was at the underclass All-American last year in San Diego, and he didn't have a great performance that day. It was upper 80s, the command wasn't there, the delivery was difficult, and he came out completely different. He sat 94. It was a power 82-mile-an-hour break curveball, not a slider, a curveball. And the mechanics still have some energy into him, but they were infinitely better. And in a year, he has improved so much. He's still physically immature, 6'2", 170. And he just has a high ceiling arm. And as you mentioned, he's now decommitted, and every college coach in the country, I guarantee you, is aware of that right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you for your insight on the pitchers. Here's something else insightful. All these athletes we've talked to, about 300 deep, very few of them took for granted the opportunity to be here. But maybe the one who appreciated it the most was Jake Berry. You see, Jake Berry has spent his high school at 6 feet 10 inches tall, having his knees rebuilt and fighting cancer. When he took the walk to the mound to pitch in the Perfect Game National Showcase, it meant everything, and we walked with him.
It was really special to me because I've never pitched on in a major league stadium before, and I was looking forward to this really since I've gotten the invite to pitch. And I think as soon as the season ended, I just spent all my time and effort working towards this, working to getting my velocity back up and working to getting my pitches to how I want them. I found out that I had testicular cancer, and it was January of 2018. It's like 95% curable, and when you catch it this early, it's almost always curable. The biggest thing is like how long will your treatment be and how it affects you. I was cancer-free as of April 10 that same year. So it's a really short and intense treatment, but it's very curable, but it's a huge toll on your body. It's just something that you don't really ever expect. Like I like still don't even fully process it that it was real, because I'm an 18-year-old and I'm like, then I was 16. I was just like, it wasn't something that I fully comprehended, and I just tried to take it one step at a time. So I tried to not get too down or too up. I tried to just stay like even keeled through it. I went in April 10th, and I actually thought I still had it, because when we got my CT scan report back, the radiologist said that there was still some like enlarged lymph nodes, but then when I went into the doctor in Indiana, he said it was completely fine. So that was really probably the best day of my life.
David, as we go to catchers, I know there are three that really caught your eye, and I think what excites me selfishly, and many probably watching this, is these are great catchers, all different, all will remain catchers in the future.
Well, that's important to note, Daron, because, the catching, how we evaluate catchers as scouts now is evolving with the game. Defense is so important now, just not the throwing, but the receiving, the athleticism, and all that. And there are three guys who stood out for me here. One is Drew Romo, who's been the top catcher in this class probably the last 2 years. He's had a strong event, done what he needed to do. We have a young man of Iowa named Calvin Harris, who we know really well at Perfect Game because he's from Iowa. Right. A real strong, physically mature kid, but very athletic and very consistent in all his mechanics, his receiving, his footwork. And then we have Jack Bolger from DeMatha Catholic, one of the top athletic schools in the country in Maryland, who's athletic. He's quick, he's very strong, but he can play multiple positions, but that athleticism really fits well behind the plate. And they're really different athletes. You've got Romo, who's a switch hitter, and we're talking about the offensive part. You've got Calvin Harris, who's a strong left-handed hitter, and you've got Bolger, who's a 6'8" runner, who's a right-handed hitter with very good bat speed. I think that right-handed bat speed is something that people don't appreciate with Jack Bolger, and will improve him in the future in his stock with the pros.
All three are SEC commits, but let's start with Romo as we dive into these catchers, and do so by understanding that the gold medalist on last year's USA baseball team started out not too long ago as a shortstop. He doesn't plan on going back.
Honestly, probably when I was 12 years old. I was mainly a shortstop for most of my childhood. But I think that really helped with having quick hands, good footwork. And then ever since then, it's just kind of been my main part of my game. Honestly, for me, it's because not a lot of people do it. I kind of like that. You go to these showcases and there's a ton of shortstops, not a lot of catchers. And so I think it's, it's a good way for you to stand out. There are a lot of tough things, honestly, still today that I need to work on, but I think blocking is probably the hardest thing. You're facing these guys, you're catching these pitchers that are throwing mid to upper 90s, and it's not a lot of time to react. You really only learn how tough it is through experience, but I'll get foul tips off my mask, ring my ears a little bit, off my shoulders. Inner thigh's the worst, but you get foul tips all over the place.
Walk me through what I'm seeing.
You see some of that pre-pitch movement right there, getting momentum as the ball's coming towards you. I let the ball travel towards me, and I transfer straight from my chest to my shoulder. I make sure to stay low in my legs, use my lower half in my throw to get the most out of it. And then it's just letting loose, going as hard as you can, making a hard throw right on target to second base. I do yoga and stretching every single day because I'm not naturally flexible, just to get lower in my stance, be really quick laterally. It takes probably 15-20 minutes of stretching before and after everything I do. Outside of the showcase, it's a lot of hard work, just working on your footwork, quick transfers. Making good throws is also really important, but once you get here and you're in front of all these people, you just gotta go fast, let loose, don't hold anything back, All these people have stopwatches, radar guns, you just gotta give it everything you have.
So David, coming out here to the outfield makes me excited because you want to talk about diversity. In many ways, diversity in the three outfielders that you cared about, different parts of the country, different skill sets. Some of them fit their regional style of baseball. Take it away, because this may be my favorite part of the show, these outfielders.
Oh, Mario Zabala, Super Mario, is almost a unique.
You're going with Super Mario.
I'm going with Super Mario.
I love it.
Almost a unique talent. He's got that big football build. He's from Puerto Rico. He wasn't raised playing football, but he looks like if he was in the United States, he'd be playing for Alabama next year on the football field. Big and strong, runs a 6'3", 60, and plays at that speed. He scored from first base on a single. He was running on the play, scores from first base, standing up, no play. He's on first base, throw goes wild on a pickoff. He ends up scoring on another one. He plays the game so fast, and he plays it with a smile. Where we're sitting out here in left field, I think he littered the stands. These stands we're sitting in with balls during batting practice, maybe 4 of them. So that power that he has in his physique translates to bat speed. He's not a conventional center fielder with that size, but he gets such good jumps in center. And he's got a mid-90s arm. So the tools are there, and the love of the game is there, and I think it's going to take him a long way.
Love of the game, that may be a documentary someday written by Pete Crow Armstrong. Parents, actors, now educators. Loves creativity, wants to write and be a part of documentaries someday. I want you to tell me not about the film side, but about the outfielder.
The outfielder, he's been a high-profile kid for a long time. He's played a lot of baseball, prototypical of that Southern California player, which is kind of really what he is. We had Bryce Terang last year, who played the game easy at his own pace, but fast. And Pete Crow Armstrong does that, whether it's with his speed, with his outfield ability, which is outstanding. We're talking about a true center fielder, and with the bat. People are commenting, he doesn't look like he swings hard, but he's getting 99-mile-an-hour exit velocities, and I've seen him, hit home runs to center field in big ballparks, but he does it also easy with that Southern California pace to him that kind of lulls you to sleep as a scout, but then when you look at the big picture, he's really, really good.
A unique athlete to be around. And then so again is Chase Davis, another Californian, but a little further north in Elk Grove, California. Jay Johnson hopes he makes it to the University of Arizona. Chase Davis is really talented.
I don't know whether he's going to be happy with the result here, because Chase Davis has such loud tools. The tools speak loudly. He threw 99 from the outfield, and it was on-line lasers. It's prototypical, right field, big league tools. Left-handed, he had big bat speed. You saw him in a home run in Jupiter last year. He undressed the first baseman on a ball he didn't get any lift on. in one of his first at-bats here. He plays the game hard, but it's such loud tools, you have to notice them as a scout. And he's another guy, a little like Mario, who plays with a smile on his face. He's a confident kid and lets his tools shine through.
Yeah, and so it's very unique with regard to these athletes. Let's go back to Pete Crow Armstrong, because it's the hit tool that's so unique for him. Spraying it, as David said, all over the ballpark in a very unique way. Surprising power when you look at his frame. How does he do it? Let's take him inside and find out.
I like to think about keeping my front side closed, and that's from my shoulder down to my front foot. So for me, where I get into trouble is if my front side, anywhere on my front side, flies, and that's rolling or getting under a ball and the weak flares to the left side. I have a two-strike approach that I always convert to as well, where I choke up a lot, just because I have more control over the bat. But, you know, I feel like I have enough trust in my grip strength and stuff like that, so I just kind of cut the knob off a little bit, I guess. Guys do it differently, and I see major leaguers doing it both ways. But yeah, I've always kind of just kind of wrapped it with my pinky. It's always felt comfortable for me. My eyes, what they're doing, I kind of pick a point on the pitcher where it's like my focal point, basically. So I kind of, because I don't want to keep my eyes still, because then everything gets blurry. So I kind of move back and forth between where the ball would be coming out and the bill of his hat, just so, you know, I have a clear vision. I like to attack early in the count, so I'm always kind of just picking one pitch, which is probably just a fastball for me. I'm thinking left center to right center. If I keep my bat path going towards left center to the gaps, then my hands will usually be able to react to an inside fastball if I'm able to pick it up. It's also big for me knowing what the pitcher's secondary pitch is, whether it's slider or changeup or curveball. So basically, if I'm early in the count and I know that he's a curveball guy, if I'm able to pick that up early, hopefully I won't be off balance or taken off guard by that spin being thrown. Yeah, I think that just helps me lay off pitches that I shouldn't be swinging at.
Right here, 3 and 5, thank you. 6 and 8, you guys can line up. 9 and 10, thank you.
Set, go! David, speed doesn't tell the entire story. We understand that. If you have only the speed tool, well, you've got a lot of work to do. But these three athletes, when you talk about just the Jets, are guys that have tools beyond just the speed. But David, there were some incredible 60 times here at Chase. Indoor, true track, some big numbers.
Yeah, big numbers. As we look out at the outfield behind us and you see how big it is when you walk around a big league field, you appreciate the role that speed plays in being an outfield. Like you said, we have three guys here that I want to talk about that really impressed with their speed. And probably the fastest guy is Jake Vogel. Vogel's from California. He ran a 6.15 yesterday. And I think that's representative of how fast he is. I've seen him play any number of games, plays at Huntington Beach High School, and he's a regular 4-4-1 from first base from the right side, and just a really good athlete, and swings a pretty good right-handed bat as well. He almost went yard a few times in batting practice yesterday and really had himself a great day.
So 6.15, then to 6.22, state champion at Edmond, Oklahoma, Santa Fe, Dom Johnson.
Yeah, Dom Johnson it's a strong athletic build, 5'8", 175, sort of a Raj Davis type player profile in that he's strong enough to swing the bat, especially when he turns on the ball. But he ran a 4.05, I think, home to first earlier. It's instantaneous speed. It's the Jets are on right away, and it's going to be interesting watching how that bat develops because he's going to have the strength to hit.
Floridian Enrique A. Bradfield Jr.
Yeah.
6.26. Again, an incredible number.
I thought Enrique would run faster, actually, because he's such a speed player. We've been watching him play since I think he was in 8th grade. And he weighed about 135 pounds then. I think he's up to about 155. It's never going to be a strength type game, like the other two have some strength, but it's the consummate leadoff hitter. He's a Juan Pierre type athlete. I saw him in a tournament in Florida 2 weeks ago, and his on-base percentage for the tournament was almost 80%. He takes pitches. He slaps the ball around. He's going to steal. He's going to play plus defense in center field. You're not going to see power from him. You're not going to see 95-mile-an-hour outfield arm, but you're going to get that Mickey Rivers, Juan Pierre, impact the game with his speed type stuff from Bradfield.
So you talk about the impact, and that's what David is talking about, the impact of speed that these athletes have. How about the mental impact that you have going through this as an athlete? We figured this time, instead of just showing you the metrics, we go out there with them. We go behind the scenes as they got ready to throw from the outfield, from the infield, throw from behind the plate, take batting practice with all eyes watching, with no turtle over them, or do what we were just talking about, run that 60. You want to be tired? Come be a part of this.
A lot about momentum, you know, you come through the ball, you get that good crow hop, and then really just let it all go. You can't really hold yourself back.
It's hard to fight the nerves, you know. I'm still kind of nervous, but you gotta let it go. Yeah, I feel like I did all the things right. The sense of what it says on the radar again.
And Daron, it's great we're talking about the drills, because drills are such an important part of the whole showcase experience and what we do as scouts. And in infield, we saw what might have been the best infield drill I've seen in 20 years of doing this at showcases. Wow. Sabine Ceballos from Puerto Rico did everything you wanted to see. He showed the arm strength, 99 miles an hour in the infield. I mean, that's top of the scale here. But more so, he showed actions, he showed quickness, he showed flair, he showed every tool you want to see. It was a perfect 10 on the grading scale. You know, we're waiting to see how much he's going to hit, but we know he's a big league quality middle infielder on defense.
So let's stay in the middle infield and go with Miami commit Samuel Infante. Give us your scouting thoughts on him.
Well, I've seen Samuel play a lot on defense. He's a spectacular defensive player. What was impressive here at this event is how well he hit the ball. He's got some strength for a middle infielder. He's got the strength in his core that helps him generate bat speed, and he really, really hit the ball. He hit the ball like a corner player. Hard line drives all over the field, gap shots, and to have that kind of offensive potential on a guy who's going to stay in the middle infield defensively is very noteworthy.
Ed Howard, Chicagoland area, Oklahoma commit, gives a ton of credit to the Chicago White Sox and their outreach to the south side of Chicago for his growth in baseball. He's grown, and he's a ball player. He's grown,
and it's great that he mentions the White Sox program, because it's just a great program that's benefited so many players over the year. Corey Ray, who you remember,
sure.
Milwaukee's first-round pick a couple years ago, came through that. But Ed Howard is probably the best rounded shortstop and the most projectable in this class. He's had the whole scouting community talking about him. He's 6'2", 185 pounds. He's going to get bigger, but there's such smooth athleticism. You look at his raw numbers, they're not like an Infante's or a Ceballos, but the way he plays the game, the sense of feel and timing, the quickness, the glove work is already very advanced, and he's going to keep getting better, and he's going to hit too. He's much like Infante, and the bat is going to play at many positions aside from the middle infield.
Michael Brown homered in-game in this showcase. he's a non-commit. He's available. I'm sure he's enjoying the attention he's getting. He's out of Vacaville, California. It's a left-handed, big, tall, strong bat.
Oh yeah, now we're infielders, but we're talking bats. That's what we're talking about now. Left-handed, he fits every profile, 6'5", 230. Yes, he's a very smooth fielding defensive first baseman. There's no doubt he'll be a plus defensive first baseman, but it's that bat. You saw the home run. We all heard the home run. He did the same thing at the underclass All-American game, last August in San Diego. That's his tool, and it's fun to watch him. Yes, he's going to swing and miss some, but he's also going to hit it out there in the right field bleachers a lot. And I think he's really got a chance to be, almost a first-round pick with the potential of that left-handed bat.
Right field bleachers, over the walkway, crushed it.
Box, make sure I can cover the whole plate. Then I spread out a little bit, make sure I'm in my legs so I can use my bottom half. Then I rest the bat on my shoulder, make sure my knuckles are lined up. Then I just try to stay loose. And then when the pitcher starts his windup, when he lifts his leg, that's when I start my load. I go back, try to get really into my back leg, so when I'm planted, I could really shoot my bottom half into my swing. I like to keep my knuckles lined up, so when I'm swinging, I don't roll over when I'm through the zone, because say it feels like this, when I'm swinging, it rolls over when I'm through the zone, but knuckles lined up, it stays through, like that.
Be here. He's been on everybody's list as a 21 as the #1 guy forever. His name is unforgettable. It's Blaise. His play is unforgettable. It's power, it's strength. He moved up a class. He's a 20. He's here, and he performed.
Oh yeah, and Blaise Jordan is one of the few baseball players who is a first-name guy as a teenager. There was a guy named Bryce once who was kind of like that too, who from a young age. And Blaise Jordan was known nationally when he was in 7th grade and hitting in the 3rd hole for Doolin's Dodgers in Jupiter. He's always been a prodigy with the bat, but he's changed as an athlete. It just isn't the class that's changed. He's changed athletically. He's always been a big, burly, strong kid. He's lost maybe 15 or 20 pounds, and he's playing third base now. He didn't even work out at first base here in Phoenix, and he played it well. He runs a 6'9" now, but at the end of the day, first base, third base, it's his bat. And he went 4 for 4 in games. He showed his power in BP. He really doesn't get pitched to. I mean, when you're on a first-name basis with everybody in the country, you're going to get pitched different than your peers, and he was pitched different, but he made the adjustments. He's got the hit tool and the power tool, and it's just going to keep playing. It's going to be very interesting to see how the scouting community sees him now that he is a 2020 moving forward over the next year.
Has been always fearless to play up, but now the decision to grow up even more so and graduate early.
My coach, Tim Dillon, brought it to me. I don't really remember the time frame, but he just came to us and just thought of the idea. We just talked about it and just kept it in the back of our mind. I just feel like that was the right decision. I prayed about it a lot, and I just thought on it a lot. I talked to my family about it, and I just felt that was right. It gave me the confidence to know that I will be able to keep playing up and that I can hang in there while I'm doing it. So it was just, that did play a big role in it. my grades were doing well, so I did 2 high school credits in middle school actually, and then my high school has like a block scheduling thing, so you get to get a lot of your classes out of the way. My administrators up there helped me a little bit, and yeah, I had to take some online classes and just do that and get all my academics done. This experience has been great. It's just, I mean, coming out here and playing with all these guys, I mean, they're top level talent. A lot of them could be in the draft next year, and you'll see a lot of these guys playing the MLB one day. So it's just crazy to think that I'm able to be here, and I'm just happy I can compete here.
It's nice.
Clean and neat. I would have gone a little bit shorter throughout here, but you see how the contrast between the tapered part and the dark part? I didn't want to climb into the dark part because then the back waves go away.
Yeah.
Big family?
Yeah.
How big?
Real big.
Quantify.
I don't know. I'll just be walking around.
Aunts, uncles, cousins.
Cousins. I would be walking into a restaurant and see somebody I don't know, and my dad would go say hi to him. I'd be like, "Who's that?" He's like, "Oh, it's your cousin."
The real test is Thanksgiving. How many people come to your house on Thanksgiving?
Probably like 15.
15 people?
Yeah. But like cousins.
Like an Irish Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but like cousins I don't even know.
When did you realize, like, hey man, I'm pretty good. I can make this legit.
Middle school, probably.
Middle school?
Or a little younger, maybe.
Were you always like the best on the team that you were always on, or was it like guys better than you that you were trying to get better to beat?
Around town, I was always the best, but when you play travel, there's always guys better than me that make me want to be better.
I got you. How your parents see it? Your mom say it's okay, you can play baseball, or she says I gotta go to school?
She said I can play baseball.
Yeah?
She's a teacher though. She teaches special ed at our school.
Wow, God bless her. It's tough. So what's the goal, long term?
Play professional baseball.
Let me hear it. Play the movie for me. How does it go?
Go to college, play baseball for 3 years, get drafted.
After 3 years?
Yeah, because that's when you can get drafted.
What team do you go play for?
The Phillies.
Of course.
Good job.
You feeling it?
I'm feeling it.
It's not too tight for you?
Nope.
Appreciate you. I wish you a lot best of luck, man. Respect. Who's up next?
All right, so D, this one's all you, and I'm wearing my backpack because I kind of feel like this is an 8th grade set of awards when you used to have the most likely to succeed, cutest couple, best smile, best athlete. I love the idea because it's outside of the metrics and it's what we've talked about. First award, Barrel Man.
Well, this is baseball. We need a barrel award, and Barrel Man here is Alex Freeland from Fort Myers. It's fitting. His dad, Bobby, is one of the batting practice pitchers that we fly around the country. He's here because Alex seen a lot of batting practice. He barrels up every ball, whether it's against Jared Kelly throwing in the upper 90s or whether it's seeing off-speed pitches. He's a right-handed hitter and a left-handed hitter. But what he always does from both sides is barrel it up. What else are you going to call him but Barrel Man?
The 4A award, and that doesn't mean you're almost to the big leagues, but you're not. It's authentic all-around athlete. The 4A award
is Cade Horton from Oklahoma. We put him out at shortstop. He's a great shortstop, middle infield athlete, 6'2", 290 pounds. You put him in the batter's box. He hits with power. He has bat speed. You run him, he's a 6'7". You put him on the mound, he throws 95. He does everything, but he also plays football, and he's going to Oklahoma to play both sports. And Oklahoma, they have a history of this two-way sport thing at Oklahoma that worked out really well for one Kyler Murray.
We've had so many former major or current major league names, their sons come through this event over the years, but you have one that has a briefcase attached to it. It's the big league briefcase bloodlines because it's GMs or former GMs.
Oh yeah, it's nice having a Biggio or a Clemens or a Hayes or somebody in this game, a Cameron. But you know what? The front office people need recognition, like Kansas City Royals World Series GM winner Dayton Moore, whose son Robert is one of the top middle infielders in the country. Then you have Dan O'Dowd, who we did the All-American broadcast with, you know, general manager of the Rockies a long time. His son, also an outstanding middle infielder with a Vanderbilt scholarship. So it's nice to recognize these guys who are known for their brains and their briefcases, not just their talent.
Very nice. So all the guys that are here have the resume with regard to they can hit, they can run, they can throw, they can pitch, they can field. We've talked about it throughout the show and will throughout the rest of this unique show. But you have one who has the complete resume, so it's the Complete Resume Award. Because what's the additional part to that resume?
Well, Jordan Walker, let's start at the top of the resume. 6'5", 210 pounds, runs a 6'5", hit 2 doubles into the corner yesterday, you know, throws 91 from the mound. He's got all those baseball resume items already done pretty well. His dad went to MIT, his mom went to Harvard, he's going to Duke, and I just don't think it's to play for the Dukies, maybe going to the College World Series next year. He's going for the classroom as well. So maybe in the future he adds like first-round pick or big league ball player to his resume. Who knows, but that might be possible for Jordan Walker.
Or dare I say President of the United States, the role he is on, or state senator. It's incredible. So that's good. Those are great awards for our 8th graders, and let's go ahead and go with Capri Suns and cookies now.
Let's do it.
I think it's my style, to be honest. You know, I'm a smaller guy and unassuming. You know, people don't really know what they're gonna watch. You know, when they see me, I have kids, you know, he throws this hard, you know, they just don't know what they're gonna see. And so, you know, I get out there, got that poker face when I'm pitching. I have presence, I feel like. I have presence, a dominant presence. You know, I look hitters in the eyes. I'm intense when I'm on the mound. My mom, Crystal Garrett, she was a track star. She went to college. I believe she went to UW. She was a dog. You know, she fought. She was good. She's still like that today, which is why I'm here. You know, my dad is too. Like my mom, she put me in baseball. You know, my dad didn't want me to play baseball, so you know, I mean, she's great. I love her. And I didn't even know there was so many talented African Americans in baseball until I went to Breakthrough Series. You know. Nasim Nunez, Alec Gonzalez, you know, it's just a list of names you can, Darius Perry. It's all these kids, it's like, to see us all at once. Like, I remember going to Jupiter and we get off the charter bus, we have our beats on and stuff. Everybody would stare, like, in awe. Just like, wow, like, I can't believe that's a team. It's, you know, it's unheard of. And I love what they're doing. Jerry Manuel, the founder. It's just awesome, you know, Flash Gordon. It's just awesome to have those guys all at once, you know, teaching us how to handle it the right way. I think it's crucial to see us all at once. I think it's crucial to have African Americans wanting to play baseball. And Breakthrough is motivating for other African Americans who never really thought about, you know, playing baseball because there's so many other cultures in it. And I think it's a great opportunity for me. I just want to shine my light. You know, God's blessed me with this talent, and you know, I'm just playing the games like anybody else. And that's what we're trying to show.
Now that we've got our great haircuts and we're ready to go, it almost seems inappropriate to not thank a handful of people. Number one, our production team. We're all incredibly proud. All of these guys that do all of this hard work, that mix all the action at the ballpark. Our biggest joy is when you athletes succeed and you make us so excited about coming to work every single day. Number two, we want to thank Major League Baseball. Your interaction with Perfect Game makes doing a job like this, and Perfect Game as a company makes their job very easy. We want to thank Perfect Game because the vision of Jerry Ford and all of his leadership, well, we've come to this, where we're doing these amazing shoots, we're out in the desert, we're at Chase Field. This is the stuff that dreams were made of back in 1995. And then the final two groups. The Arizona Diamondbacks were incredible hosts this year. Whether it was down on the field with those players that needed guidance or help to find their way, families to their seats, those of us on the press box level, we don't do any of this. Kudos to you, Arizona Diamondbacks, without all of your cooperation and hard work. And finally, most importantly, we want to thank the athletes and their families. And let's go to the families. The moms, the dads, the grandparents, the stepmoms, the stepdads, the friends of family, the aunts and uncles. All of you folks are so important. And hey, you players, find them again, because I say it to you all the time, and thank them. On behalf of our entire production crew and Perfect Game, we'll see you soon at the ballpark.